What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the part number 2 of the USBL conference finals for both the AL and the ALCS here. We're gonna be, at least I think we're gonna be wrapping up, figuring out who's gonna be the 2 teams that are going to be in the USBL World Series. So it's gonna be a good one. Make sure you smash that like button. Also, hit subscribe as well if you have to be brand new and like what you see here on the channel as well. And we'll get right into it. And starting off with what has really been a surprise thus far in the USBL, we see the San Francisco Seals. They're taking on their fellow division opponent in the LA Saints. And San Francisco has a 3-0 lead on them right now. But that being said, we could very much see a sweep on the way to the World Series. San Francisco, they have not lost a single game yet in this postseason so far, and that's a great way to start things out if you want to keep a streak like that going. Ozzy Albies gonna hit his 6th home run of the postseason so far. Spencer Turnbull, though, he will end up calming down just a little bit, though. Will finish the rest of the inning clean, get Nick Castellanos to strike out swinging on a bad outside pitch. But San Francisco is off to a pretty good start here as they take an early 1-0 lead here, as we see what Logan Webb could do on the mound here. But Kyle Lewis actually goes ahead and sends this one out pretty deep to left center field as well. And that's also going to be a solo shot for him. So now this game all tied up at 1 apiece, and Patrick Dwyer's looking to keep the good vibes going. LA trying to make sure but they at least keep this series alive at least one more game. Nobody in pro sports history has ever come back from a 3-0 series lead. It has not happened yet in pro sports history. We'll see if LA could be the first team to do that here, as they look like they're on the fast track to do just that. Patrick Dwyer is able to get home off of a grounder to JJ Burde, and LA does have a 2-1 lead here, but the pitching simply has to be a lot better here for Los Angeles if they want to win games, man. They have not really contained the San Francisco offense at all in this series, and that is why they do have a 3-0 lead, in the series. And they're going to keep going with that, as well as Randall Gruszczak. He's going to send this shot, a little beamer, out into left field, and that's going to move runners into scoring position. Josh Donaldson at third. They got Gruszczak at first base. It's now 2 batters later now. Gabriel Arias, who has struggled. He is the one weakness in the San Francisco lineup, but he's not a complete liability, though, as he gets a grounder through the infield. And because of that, San Francisco does go ahead, get a couple more runs on the board. So that being said here, San Francisco now has the lead, and they're looking to add at least one more run here. This throw is going to be a little bit close, though, but how about that? Nice job getting the snipe in, as JJ Burde got that throw in rather quickly to save a run from being scored. And LA, for now, finds themselves down by 1 run, as we'll see the LA Saints come back to the plate here in the top of the 3rd inning. Although that's not how you want to start the 3rd inning off whatsoever. Andreas Vargas tried to stretch it out to a double, but that just simply ain't working out at the end of the day. So now Brandon Nimmo, he's going to come to the plate here. He did ground out back in the 1st inning. Is now first pitch of the at-bat from Logan Webb. He's getting ready to go ahead and deliver here as Nimmo. He's going to get a nice contact on the ball. This might carry out. It gets to the wall. It's going to at least be a double. No runs will score on the play, however. So now we got runners at 2nd and 3rd base. Here's the manager for the San Francisco Seals. Is going to go ahead. He's going to go have a chat with his pitcher. See what's going down. See what's got going on. Trying to make sure that he's in the right mindset, really, as he'll have to deal with Freddie Freeman now up at the plate. The pitch coming in, and Freddie Freeman, he's gonna ground out to Ozzy Albies. He does get the ground out there, but a run does get home as well. And this game is now all tied up at 3 apiece. Here's Paul Goldschmidt looks to go ahead and get right to business as Paul Goldschmidt looks to release the tie from this game. Not so far, but that being said, though, that's not, I mean, it's not going to be a home run, but Paul Goldschmidt does get into scoring position here. A double for the number 3 hitter. As Nick Castellano, he does end up getting put out. But Josh Donaldson, though, he's a bad man, too. Batting .357 in the postseason so far. And that's only going to climb a little bit higher here. Josh Donaldson, he will remain at first base. But, blink of an eye here, we do see Paul Goldschmidt able to get home. And San Francisco retakes the lead here. 4-3 ball game. Gruszek, he's going to take this out to left field as well, and he realizes that ball's going to be gone like a girl in a country song. 4th home run of the postseason for Randall Gruszek, and San Francisco now doubling up the LA Saints as a 6-3 lead here, and really a monster 3rd inning in the works here for San Francisco. As we go ahead, we see yet another double here, as Spencer Turnbull, he has just been torn apart here in this ball game. He might not even make, I'm surprised he's still out there, to be honest, given the ramifications for the LA Saints, as Gabriel Arias, he gets yet another hit out there as well. Arias, he's actually going to go ahead and go straight to second. I'm surprised Turnbull didn't try to throw that. He could have actually gotten him, to be honest. So a little bit of a blunder by Spencer Turnbull, and that's enough for him. LA decide to bring in Steven Brault into the game. He's struggled in the postseason, though, 7.36 ERA. But that being said, though, able to get the fly out in the outfield. And so, nice job by Brault to make sure no more damage is done. But San Francisco here, in the bottom of the 3rd inning, they start to go ahead and open things up here in a big way. As now, Alejandro Kirk here in the top of the 5th inning does end up striking out. It's the 3rd strikeout for Logan Webb, who's still out there. He's actually been pretty efficient so far. 69 pitches to this point, so, you know, nice. As now, Logan Webb, 0-1 delivery. And Brian Anderson, he's going to go ahead, and he's going to get a hold as one as well. So, LA starts chipping into this thing a little bit. Now just a 2-run game, but it could be too little too late here. As Brad Hand, he comes in here. It's a 2-run difference up to the meat of his lineup to keep the season alive for the LA Saints. And it's not looking good here. Freddie Freeman, he's going to end up striking out. That's the first out of this game, or first of the inning. As Kyle Lewis, a couple batters later, look at just to stay alive here. But Kyle Lewis, he knew the 2. He thought he had a good shot at it, but it's going to be a harmless fly ball out into right field. And San Francisco has done the unthinkable. The San Francisco Seals, they started off in the wild card. They had the wild card death match and then have not lost a single game since. They have clinched the first of 2 slots in the USBL World Series. Congratulations to the San Francisco Seals for winning the National League pennant. So let's go ahead and check out the other series over in the ALCS, which has been a little bit more competitive, at least that I have noticed thus far. Right now for Chicago Freeze, they do come into this episode here with a 2-1 lead over the Houston Astronauts. But that being said, Houston does have at least the next 2 games here at home. So this is a really good opportunity to get back in this series, but they need to be able to hold serve here. You do not want to go back to Chicago for the Chicago Freeze to have an opportunity to go ahead and close the series out, you know, on their home field. So these next couple of games here, this game and the next game that's going to come up right after this, going to be some huge games for them. And Houston, they understand the urgency and they start off hot from the get-go. Very first batter, able to get a double, able to get the inning going here is now JD Davis. He's at the plate as well, and look at this shot that he gets out going. Not a little bit of rain that's going to be able to bother them whatsoever. In the USBL, we don't believe in rain delays unless it's like really terrible, and honestly it really isn't raining all that bad. So gonna let them continue to play, of course, as the USBL commissioner, as we see almost another home run here early on in this ball game. The Houston Astronauts have certainly came home, and they came to play in this game, as Brandon Belt is actually going to go ahead and stretch this thing out to a triple. So they're batting, it seems like they're pretty close to batting around in this lineup, as Luis Roberts, he's going to get a single. He's going to bring in Brandon Belt as well. So, I mean, you are reading that scoreboard correctly right now, you guys. It is already 5 runs in this bottom of the first inning. And the thing is, like, the Astronauts, they're not even done yet. They're going to end up, I'm pretty sure that base hit right there is going to guarantee that they are going to go ahead and bat around completely in the first inning. And Chicago had enough. They're going to bring in Nick Pavita, but what a huge loss for Chicago, though. Not getting anything going out there, man. Not going anything out there on the mound. And this bullpen, in a nightmare scenario, starter knocked out in the very first inning, is now JD Davis. He's back up to the plate once again. This time, he's got bases loaded and a full count as well. But JD Davis, he's able to go ahead and check his swing. And the pitcher's worst nightmare, man, besides giving up a grand slam, probably walking a run in. You want to talk about an unforced error. We just saw one right there as Christian Yelich. He comes up to the mound as well. Thought that was going to potentially be a double play, but just a misread out there at third base. And I'm pretty sure they're going to mark that as an error. I'm actually not too terribly sure what's going on there. But yeah, Houston ends up getting another run in. 8 runs in this game. And Keston Hiura, if you needed any more assistance, how about this? Keston Hiura, a ball that's going to likely clear the bases. This might be an inside the park home run. Keston Hiura, he's going to actually try for it, but Keston Hiura does end up getting thrown out at home. In Chicago, they go to the bullpen again, already on their third pitcher. And we're not even done with the first inning yet. Brandon Bell coming in. Gonna try to go ahead, try to hit this one deep out into left center field. This ends up dropping. Are we gonna see another attempt at an inside the park home run here? We might be seeing it back to back like a Drake episode. Trying to get home, and Brandon Belt is going to be thrown out here. But Houston just takes all this momentum from the get-go, man. And they never look back. Look at the score right now. This is why I didn't really show any other highlights, in this game in particular. Because it's a 23-0 game. This turns out into a bloodbath. We'll see what Chicago could end up doing, You gotta at least get a good round of batting in. It's hard to take anything positive when you're losing 23-0 right now. But if you can at least get something on the board, at least something to feel good about yourself. How about that? A slow shot for Reese McGuire. So we at least know that the Chicago Freeze will not be shut out here in game number 4 of the ALCS, as Robert Gesman is going to come in here. And I mean, you got really not much to worry about at this point. You got a 22-run lead here to work with, and the relaxation, really showed there, able to get the double play, as that does end game number 4 here, and Houston does go ahead. They even up this series off of a huge offensive night. 23 runs scored, winning by 22 against Chicago. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and jump into game number 5 here. A big one here. Houston, they won the first home game of this episode. Can they take care of business, win the second home game, and then at least go back to Chicago with a 3-2 lead? Give yourself 2 chances on the road to close out the series. Big matchup as well for the Chicago Freeze, as well as the momentum in this series is certainly in Houston's hands right now. I mean, look at this, 23-1 lead. That is hard to come back from. So let's go ahead and take a look at the pitching matchups here in this game that Houston could potentially go ahead and maybe pull the upset on Chicago Freeze as well. Alex Wood is on the mound here for the Chicago Freeze to make sure that doesn't happen necessarily, but Chicago's got to be a little bit better here. They have struggled as of late here as we get to the top of the second inning. Jose Abreu looking to go ahead and change that. And how about that for a moonshot? That is gone. Home run for Jose Abreu here, as that's going to kick off game number 5. The Chicago Freeze will go ahead. They will take a 2-0 lead as Chris Taylor does end up striking out to end the top of the second inning. As now we will go ahead and jump to the bottom of the second. MJ Melendez, he's going to go ahead and smash this one out into left field. This is it pretty hard, but oh, I thought that was going to be an out, but that's not going to be the case. Now Houston might be able to go ahead and get their first run on the board, but the runners will still remain at second and third base as of right now. So here we go. Josh Bell, 2-2 count here in the bottom of the second inning. He's going to go ahead and ground out to the shortstop, but the little bit of a bobble that happened there at the beginning of the play did prevent a double play from happening. So Houston was also able to go ahead and get a run on the board as well, and it remains a close and pivotal game 5 as well. It still remains all tied up at 1 apiece here now in the 5th inning, although we might see that tie finally being broken though as he's rounding the third base. Is he going to try to go for home? Yes, he is. Here we go. Run at the plate is going to score. And an inside the park home run gives the Chicago Freeze a 2-1 lead here. So definitely a tight affair for as far as another multi-base hit is going to drop. This might also end up being an inside the park home run as well, but will remain at third base. He could have definitely made it home for sure. As now runner at third base. Here's Michael Brantley, has a chance to bring him in and is going to do just that as well. So Michael Brantley helps extend this lead here for the Chicago Freeze. They will go ahead and take a 3-1 lead as manager for the Houston Astronauts is going to come out and have a chat with Michael Pineda for this very important 5th inning. He's been pretty efficient up to this point, but ran into a little bit of trouble, and so is Alex Wood. He's also run into a little bit of trouble as well here. 5th inning been a struggle bus for both of these starting pitchers here, as at least we know that one run is going to score, not even getting a double play in the process as well. So Houston gets a run on the board, and we're also going to see runners on the corner here with Christian Yelich at the plate, and that's somehow going to get past Jose Abreu. One run will score, and we will also see some more runners at the corner here. So things getting interesting. Things are now all tied up at 3 apiece here, as Houston will end up going ahead and taking the lead off of a RBI single as well. So the Houston Astronauts off of Keston Hiura retake the lead, and knowing that it's a pivotal moment, Nick Pivetta is going to come into the game now, taking on JD Davis. Gets the strikeout there on JD Davis. We'll see if he can do the same thing to Luis Robert, and look at that. How about that for some clutch pitching right there? You absolutely love to see it. But Houston doing some damage in the 5th inning. They end up retaking the lead. As of right now, we'll see if they can hold on to it, as Jose Alvarez comes to the game for the Houston Astronauts. Only his 3rd appearance in the postseason so far, but we are going to go ahead. He has not allowed a single run yet in this postseason, so could definitely very much still be interesting to this point, as Jose Alvarez, he's going to hit this one deep out in the left field, and that's going to be a rocket out there. Not many, that would not been a home run in many places, but just with how unique those dimensions are, Jose Abreu, able to literally muscle that over, and that home run shot alone is going to go ahead and give him a tie ball game here. So now game all tied up at 4 apiece here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Nick Pivetta, he's still in the game and continuing his hot streak as well. He has struck out 3 consecutive batters, although that will eventually come to an end though, as Miguel Rivas is going to hit a hard one out into center field. Gets it over the head of the center fielder. This is going to at least be a triple, I would imagine. But that being said, Houston retaking the lead here once again, going for a Game 5 victory as they look to extend it further now. Another hit right through the gap. Another run will score. And the Houston Astronauts now with a 2-run lead. They're going to be up 6-4 now and going to be looking to pull away here as Nick Anderson is going to be called upon to try to close this game out for the Houston Astronauts. He is acquired from the Boston Quakers, and that acquisition can come in a huge way right now as Chris Taylor, he's going to also strike out as well. So 2 consecutive strikeouts here for Nick Anderson to start the 9th inning. Can they get the same thing from Kyle Seager? And wait a minute, that's going to be a fair ball. Chris Seager, he's going to go ahead, round first base. It's going to be a close one, and he's safe. Kyle Seager gets the double, and all of a sudden, the tying run for the Chicago Freeze is at the plate. Reese McGuire has a chance to play hero, but is going to strike out, unfortunately. And oh my goodness gracious, it's going to wrap things up here for game number 5 as the Houston Astronauts, they hold serve at home. They win game 5. And that does mean we are going to go ahead and go into game number 6. We are back in Chicago, but this is exactly where the Houston Astronauts want to be. All they got to do, win one of these 2 games against the Chicago Freeze, and we will see yet another upset in the USBL playoffs right now. Chicago coming in as the favorite to win it all. The only team in the USBL to win over 100 games in the regular season are now on the tightrope. And if Chicago doesn't win this game, it's going to be barbecue chicken for them in this series. Backs against the wall. This is what champions are made of. Can Chicago find a way to win this game? But interesting decision here for the Chicago Freeze. They sent out Chris Bassett. And if that name sounds familiar, he actually started in game number 4, where he was knocked out after 1 inning of play and was part of that 11-run inning that the Chicago Freeze pitching staff surrounded. And right now, the decision not paying off whatsoever. J.D. Davis going to get a solo shot here as well. Maybe Chicago's trying to save their best for last. They think they can, lean on this home crowd to potentially win this game. But, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what they're thinking either, though. 2 home runs given up in the first inning. Looks exactly how the first game number 4 went for, between Houston and Chicago. And not only that, but they got Mike Clevenger on the mound as well. 2 starts, 2.7 ERA, and he's a bad dude, man. He can definitely pitch pretty darn well. But Michael Brantler, he can also do a pretty good job of taking advantage of the shift in the outfield. Nobody really home to protect that side of the field, and Michael Brantley made him pay for it there. Able to get the double as we got Xander Bogaerts at the plate here. Michael Brantley trying to get home, and looks like Michael Brantley will accomplish just that. They will not try to throw out the runner at home. Just taking it easy out for Xander Bogaerts. So it's still a 2-1 game. Houston has been off to a fast start. We'll see if they can continue that. Brandon Belt having himself a really nice postseason so far, batting .313, and he also takes advantage of the shift. This time they shift their whole team to the right, and Brandon Belt was able to find the hole in the shift. And so what probably should have been a single, it gets stretched out to a double because of that shift. Now Luis Robert, he has somebody in scoring position, and that's what happens when you have timely hitting. Not hard hits necessarily, but Luis Robert gets the job done, gets another run in for the Houston Astronauts, and they will go ahead. They jump out to a 3-1 game here in game number 6 as Alex Kirilloff, he's going to go ahead and try to, keep it going here, but Luis Robert is going to get a steal here, so things were looking fantastic for the Houston Astronauts. Look at this steal, by the way. He ends up getting in there well before the tag, but unfortunately for him, he ends up getting stranded at second base. Nothing else really happening for the rest of the bottom of the second inning, and it will remain a 3-1 ball game here as Chris Bassett, he has surprisingly done a pretty good job of calming down a little bit, but he's going to throw a wild pitch here And even then, like, that could have been a throw out at second base, but that didn't happen there whatsoever. So that's going to be credited as a wild pitch there for Chris Bassitt. Brandon Belt, you know, he's a pretty smart hitter. He got the double earlier in this game here in game number 6, and he's going to keep that going. Although it doesn't need to be smart when you can just jam it up that far. How about that? A 2-run shot for Brandon Belt. And the Houston Astronauts continuing to build the lead here, now making it a 5-1 ball game. And although they will eventually get out of this. No, wait a minute, that's an error. Chris Taylor, you cannot be serious, man. This Chicago Freeze team has really fallen apart in this episode, and now in a tough spot. They're already down by 4 runs, but thankfully there is plenty of baseball that is still left to be played. But I mean, like, Chicago, they really got to get on it right here, right now, starting with a clean inning here, top of the 5th inning, as we check out the stats for Chris Bassitt. And again, another outing for Chris Bassitt, second one in this series that he started in. That did not turn out very well whatsoever. I am actually real confused with why they would start Chris Bassitt. I know he's probably a little bit more fresh and trying to save your best for last in a potential game 7, but I mean, you got to win this game first before you can even think about a game 7 here at home. And I mean, now the pitching staff for Chicago, once again, their bullpen's put in a tough situation here, and they can only hold off for so long as Keston here is going to get a hold of yet another one, and that's going to be a solo shot for him. So 6-home run for Keston Hiura means it's now a 6-1 lead for the Houston Astronauts. They have to go to the bullpen once again. Nick Pivetta back out there. He pitched pretty solid in game number 5 overall, but we'll see if he can have similar results here in game number 6, as he does get Luis Robert to drop out. Let's see if he can get the same thing for Alex Kirilloff for a full count here, and that's not exactly what you want. I think that's going to be gone. Yes, it is. Another home run for Houston. It's the 5th one of the postseason here. And a 7-1 lead here. They look really good of potentially going ahead and pulling the upset and going to the USBL World Series. Are we going to find out what our World Series matchup is going to be in this episode? Or will Chicago rally back? MJ Melendez gets the stolen base. He has something to say about that, as JD Davis is also going to hit a pretty rough one out to left field. And that's going to be yet another run scored for the Houston Astronauts, as JD Davis gets to second base. It will eventually be the last run scored in this inning, but you want to talk about a really tough spot for Chicago right now. Down 8-1 here. You only got 3 innings to come back. Let's see if they can make it count. Michael Bentley, he's able to get it hit out into left field. It actually does reach all the way to the wall. Thought about rounding towards third, but will end up remaining at second base. And if you're going to pull off a rally, that's going to be one of the ways you do it. As now, Xander Bogaerts, with bases at the corners, going to go ahead, and he's going to hit this one pretty well, and it will end up dropping as well. So Michael Brantley, he is able to get home there, and Chicago gets their 2nd run in this game to cut it into a 6-run deficit. We'll see if they can get the same results here for Jose Abreu. They need him to come through right here, right now. 0 for 2 so far on the day with 2 flyouts. Mike Clevenger still remaining in the game, and Jose Abreu finds a hole and is going to go ahead and get another run on the board. So here comes the Chicago Freeze, looking to make a comeback of epic proportions here, as that's going to be hit in the center field. That's going to be a base hit. This might actually go ahead and bring in 2 runs as well, and it does. And hold on, folks. We still got ourselves a game, and we still got ourselves a series because of it. 8-5 now. Houston finally goes to the bullpen, turning to Jose Alvarez, making sure that Houston still hangs on to the lead here as this ball is hit deep out in the left field, and it's going to end up dropping. Almost ends up being a ground rule double. This is going to be a close throw, though, but it's not in time or on target for that matter. So now a 2-run game here. Kyle Seager looking to keep the inning alive now, as the tying run here is at second base. The 0-0 pitch, that's going to be deep in the left field. Is it going to drop? No, it won't drop. But because it was caught in foul territory, that does at least mean another run can get across. It was just deep enough. The throw was a little close, though. As Reese McGuire now comes in. 1-2 count. He's going to end up striking out, though. But how about this? We are going to go ahead. We still got ourselves a game here, y'all. This is still just a 1-run difference here. In the end of the 6th inning, will Houston be able to hang on here? And they're going to rely on Yasmiro Petit to do just that. You got 3 more. You got the 7th, you got the 8th inning, and you got the 9th inning left to go here. And you're almost out of the 7th inning as well. Do walk somebody, but Joey Gallo's coming at the plate. He has struggled this series. 4 for 20, but when he does hit, he usually bangs. 3 home runs, 3 RBIs. So we'll see if he can get his 4th home run in this series right here, as Joey Gallo look maybe to potentially take the lead here, as Petit will throw his first pitch of the at-bat, and Joey Gallo is going to get a hold of one, and everybody and their mother knows that then it's going to be gone like a girl in a country song. Home run for Joey Gallo, his 8th one of the postseason. And now the Chicago Freeze will have a 9-8 lead here. That is as big as the lead is going to get. So all of a sudden, it's now Chicago who rallied back. They were down 8-1. They were considered dead. But they have come back to life here, and they now have a chance to win this game. They just got to get 1 clean inning from Aroldis Chapman. You know he's a bad man getting Luis Robert to strike out. He's a pretty tough person to bat against. We already know this. Even though he's not in his prime, he's a pretty darn good catcher. And we're seeing it right here as he has a chance to close things out here. This is hit deep in the center field, though. This could cause some trouble, but is going to end up being caught by Kyle Seager. And this game is officially over. Guys, we are going to have a game 7, as it took, we're here in 6 games, and we still don't have a winner yet. So with that stunning comeback by the Chicago Freeze, we now have a series that's all tied up at 3 apiece, with the next game deciding who is going to end up going to the World Series. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it just wouldn't necessarily feel right to go ahead and put Game 7 in the exact same episode. So what I am going to do next episode is going to be a primetime game. It's going to be a YouTube premiere, the first one ever here on the JohnJake Baseball channel, between the Houston Astronauts and the Chicago Freeze, that will specifically decide who is going to go ahead and go to the World Series to take on the San Francisco Seals. So you want to watch out for that. And in the meantime, though, if you enjoyed the content in today's video, make sure you smash that like button, and also hit me up down in the comments as well. Love reading your comments. And if you happen to be brand new as well, and you made it all the way to the end of this video, do me a favor and please smash that like button, and also hit subscribe as well if you happen to be brand new. This is JohnJake Baseball on the mic, signing off. I'm hoping you're all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.